What up, brothers? Been a while. And by a while, I mean 1 week. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel today. My name is the Crimson Wolf, and welcome back to the Blue review for our Premier League game versus Arsenal. I think this is probably one of the best games of the season so far, from a footballing perspective, from an us perspective, maybe not. Obviously, we got a draw out this game, which actually brings us up to third in the table, above Arsenal, which we always like to see. Third on goal difference, because places 3 through 6 are all on 19 points. We just happen to have the most superior goal difference because we have the third best attack in the league. This game was a really back and forth game. I think there was several mistakes from both teams, several really good moments from both teams, and honestly, I think a draw was probably a fair result. I think we both played at an equal level for that to be the case. We both played well in most parts, a couple lapses for each of the goals, but overall I think we both played solid, so I think a draw is a fair result, and it got us into the third place in the table, so I have very few complaints. If you are new to the channel around here, allow me to give you a quick overview of what goes on around here. Basically, I go through 8 points from the game, Lampard's famous 8 as I like to call it, and give them a card based on whether it was a good, mid or bad performance. And now obviously there is the introduction of the 4th gold card for the man of the match alongside the blue, yellow and red. Without further ado, I will jump straight into the first card of the day. It's the only red card I'm giving out. I think you can all imagine who it's for. Some people say he had a mixed performance and that he saved us towards the end of the game. I don't care, because Robert Sanchez should not be conceding that goal at his near post. It's absolutely outrageous. It's ridiculous. Should he be in that situation? No, we should have dealt with it before it got to that point, but he has to do better there. I understand the logic of what it's explained to be. Sanchez is preparing for Martinelli to shoot a cross goal, so he's kind of spread himself out enough to catch that possibility, but isn't prepared for him to go near post. That's exactly what happens. He misses it completely, and it's in the back of the net. That's outrageous. I'm not having it. I'm absolutely not. We could have won this game if he hadn't conceded that goal. It's absolutely stupid. There are multiple factors leading up to that goal which you can possibly absolve Sanchez of blame for being put in that situation. It's the same thing I said with the Man United game and conceding that penalty. It's stupid as hell. Yes, he shouldn't be in that situation, but he has to do better in the situation he's put in. He has to do better than what he did. It's absolutely ridiculous. 100% this is a red card for me for Sanchez. And I echo the sentiment I've been saying for weeks now. He's not a sustainable number one, and I don't think he's ever going to be. He has all the tools to be a world-class goalkeeper. His shot stopping is often brilliant. His distribution can be world-class. He's a cross magnet because of how big he is. And he's even decent at penalty saves. He saved 2 for us already, but he just doesn't apply it. His decision-making often takes so much away from his game because it often means he makes the wrong decision constantly. This was another one of those instances. It was the same thing with the Man United one, when instead of diving in and taking Højlund out, he should have shepherded him away from the goal so that he just can't get the shot away. With this one, he needs to be more confident at his near post, and he's not. Look, I get the need to want to cover a shot across goal. I get it. It's less embarrassing to concede from a shot across goal than it is to concede at your near post like that. So I would have preferred if we conceded that way, because at least then Sanchez is absolved from quite a bit more blame. But from this one, it's absolutely unacceptable. 100% it's a red card from me for Robert Sanchez. Moving into the yellow cards, and the first one goes to Romeo Lavia. I'm going to be honest, I don't think Lavia played incredibly well in the second half of the game. The first half of the game I thought he played really well. Alongside Moises Caicedo, I thought the two of them anchored the midfield very nicely. And then I thought they kept Odegaard very quiet. Declan Rice didn't really get in this game either. I do question, because Lavia looked like he was pushing up the pitch a lot of the time, and that's very weird, especially considering he is a out-and-out number 6. It's really weird that we've been seeing him pushed up the pitch like that, because that is tailor-made for Enzo Fernandez. So if we're going to be doing that with our midfielders, just play Enzo Fernandez, for crying out loud. However, I think Lavia did come unstuck in the second half, specifically around that second goal, because I think his confidence was a bit shot after that. Now, the lead up to the goal we conceded is an absolute cataclysmic turn of events from about everybody on the pitch. It's a suicide pass from Palmer onto a suicide pass from Cucurella, and Lavia just gets out-muscled by Martin Odegaard, and then we're in that position. I think Lavia has to do better. Yes, he's put in that position, and he shouldn't have been, but I think he could have done better than what he did. He loses the ball a bit too easily to Martin Odegaard for me, so I think he could have done so much better for that one. And then there was that really ridiculous slide tackle that he completely missed on Timber. Like, Timber didn't even go down, he just went round him. Like, I don't know how he missed that. Yes, I'm possibly nitpicking a little bit here, but I don't think he looked as confident in that second half as he did in the first. It's probably the weakest I've seen Romeo Lavia play so far. Now, thankfully for him, he has a small sample size, so that's not saying much. I don't think it's necessarily a sign of things to come, but I don't think Lavia played particularly well today. The other player that's receiving a yellow card, and I'm going to be honest, I think you can all see who this is. Cole Palmer in the last couple games, ignoring the Newcastle game, has looked unbelievably quiet, and it is all to do with the system. Truth be told, Maresca should probably be here instead of Palmer, but I'm highlighting Palmer specifically because I believe it affects him the most. Maresca has decided to invert Malo Gusto into a right-sided 10, which is a ridiculous decision. A, because Gusto is the worst player on the pitch at finishing. Straight up the worst. And we saw that in this game. A pitch-perfect cross from Neto, and it's an absolute laid up on a plate for him on a silver goddamn platter, and he heads it over. Any other player on the pitch, they score that. Reece James scores that. Marc Cucurella scores that. Even Pedro Neto, who delivered the cross, scores that. It had to be Malo Gusto on the end of that cross. It just had to be, because he was the one player that would have missed it. So why is he inverting as a right 10? I don't understand it. Other problem? The right 10 is Cole Palmer's position. Why are we playing our best player as a left 10 and having an inverted fullback at the right 10? I don't understand it. Now, the justification with inverting Gusto, I sympathise with a lot more, and it's to do with the centre-backs Levi and Wes, because Levi is very confident as a centre-back, and Wes is more confident on the right of a back three, and with Cucurella on the left of both of them, they're in those positions, and that's where they shine. So that's why I understand why we've been inverting the right back. What I don't understand is why we're inverting them so high up the pitch. They should be inverting into the base of a midfield, where we can have them play alongside Romeo Lavia and set Moise Caicedo free to go be a hunter and hunt the ball down and win it back. That's exactly what we should be doing. And then let Cole Palmer be Cole Palmer. So I don't understand why we're having Gusto play as a right 10. It doesn't work, and I don't understand why we're doing it. The other thing I want to bring up, and I probably should have mentioned this in the Lavia section, we need to be starting Enzo Fernandez again. We saw it when he came on, and he instantly changed the game in our attacking favour. Yes, we looked a little bit more frail defensively, but then we looked so much more dangerous going forward. Enzo Fernandez is our most attack-minded midfielder, with the most quality at the very least, and he 100% showed it. His link-up all season with players like Palmer and Sancho, and possibly even Madueke, like, it's been great. And he is the reason that we have so much attacking quality, I believe. Like, these past couple games, we haven't looked as dangerous attacking, and it's no coincidence that they've been the couple games that Enzo Fernandez hasn't played. The only other game that we've played without Enzo this season is the Bournemouth game, and we barely scraped out of that game with one goal. I 100% believe Enzo Fernandez needs to start more games now. Because what we should be seeing is Enzo Fernandez starting games, we get a couple goals in front, then we bring on Romeo Lavia to see out the games and stop us from conceding. That's exactly what we should be doing. Because if we're not going to score goals, we're not going to win games. You don't win games, you don't get top four. Simple as. Yes, you need to defend, but if you're sacrificing that much attacking quality to be able to defend, I don't think it's worth it. When you get a couple goals in front, that's when you need to be able to defend. Don't lose your lead then. You don't try and lose a lead you haven't gotten already. You need a lead, and then you try not to lose it. Enzo Fernandez needs to be starting over Romeo Lavia, and he will make Cole Palmer a better player again. He will make Jadon Sancho a better player. So we need to be starting Enzo Fernandez. Now, moving into the blue cards. And the first two cards are for our centre-back duo of Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana. And I think this is probably the best game the two of these have had together. I think this is 110% the best game Wesley Fofana has ever had for Chelsea, to be honest. I think he was absolutely phenomenal. And I think Levi Colwill was really good as well. Levi was shaky in a couple moments. The first is that free kick, which Arsenal took quickly and Havertz put in the back of the net and was thankfully ruled offside. I don't like that Levi's backing away from Havertz and telling somebody to go mark him. If nobody's going to mark him, go and do it yourself. You're a centre-back and he's their centre-forward. Go and mark him. That's something that pisses me off so much. If you see no one's marking him, go and mark him. If you're marking somebody else, fair enough. But if there's nobody around you and you see a guy who's unmarked, go and fucking mark him. Like, that pisses me off so much. Second is obviously the challenge on Saka, which quite early in the game to be getting a yellow card is a bit risky. To be fair, he managed himself quite well throughout that game, played a full 90, didn't get sent off. A little bit close to it when he put in that challenge on Havertz in the second half, albeit it was in their half, so I don't think it was ever going to be a second yellow. We know what these refs are like, so we can never tell nowadays. The third one is obviously playing Gabriel Martinelli onside for their goal. Again, that's not really his fault. They should be playing deeper. He's trying to get them to play deeper, and he moves into a deep position to play him onside. And you can't really blame him for playing him onside because he's not supposed to be watching that side of the pitch. He's supposed to be watching the side of the pitch that he is on, where the ball currently is. So I'm not going to hold him too accountable for that, but it is something that he probably should be just a little bit more careful of in the future, because we know what this can be like. But other than that, I thought Levi played really well. What I really liked from Levi at this game was the line-breaking passes. He was always waiting on the ball, and then just suddenly, bang, would just launch a ball through the midfield straight to the forward line, and we'd be off. And Levi starting our attacks that way is absolutely perfect. That's what he's built for, and I absolutely love it. So, 100% so happy with Levi in this game. Couple hairy moments maybe, but those will rectify with time and experience. As for Wesley Fofana, I think he played really well in this game. As I said, the best game I think Wesley Fofana has ever played for Chelsea. He just looked he looked calm, he looked composed, he didn't look erratic. He had moments where he was capable of using his pace. He was having those moments where he was driving with the ball into the midfield, even ended up in the box at one point with a 1-2 with Madueke, which was really impressive. Almost scored a very difficult chance, but nearly scored it nonetheless. 100%, I think Wes played really well today. Solid at the back, and we're starting to see this partnership grow even further now. This partnership has all the elements to be a perfect partnership, and it's been Wes's performances that I think have been letting it down recently. And now that Wes has started stepping up, because I thought he played well versus Man United as well, this partnership can grow even further. They're both relatively quite leaders as well, really. Levi is a more vocal leader than Wes, but I think Wes does have leadership as well. He can be vocal. He's not overly vocal. I think Levi does just shout at people quite a bit, and that is in some situations what you need. But Wes is quite a leader on the pitch as well, and the amount of times I've seen him like get in between people to stop like scraps and stuff like that, I think that is something that you could probably do with on the pitch. A bit of a level head, maybe. 100% the best he's ever had for Chelsea. And I mean, he was up against Kai Havertz, 29 versus 29. He nicked his number, and he proved he's the better 29 because Kai Havertz had a shit game, and every Chelsea fan has a massive smile on their face because of it. So thank you, Wes. You put that fool in his place. The next blue card goes to last week's gold card recipient, Moises Caicedo. And he just owned the midfield once again. Still, as I say, for me, the best midfielder in the Premier League right now, Moises Caicedo. He was absolutely stellar in this game. Locked up Odegaard for large parts of it. I didn't hear a peep out of Declan Rice, to be perfectly honest. He owned that midfield. Once again, everywhere, winning the ball back left, right and centre, and being able to distribute it up the pitch. Absolutely brilliant from Moises Caicedo. Obviously, unfortunately, didn't get a goal in this game, as we all would like to see, because whenever he scores a banger. But 100% brilliant performance from Moises Caicedo. And he actually started this game as the captain, and was the captain until Reece James come on. And this is something I actually want to discuss, which is that, has Moises Caicedo now become the vice-captain? Because in recent times, whenever Enzo Fernandez has been coming on, he hasn't been getting the armband off of Moises Caicedo. Obviously, when Reece James came on, Caicedo gave him the armband. And I don't know if whether that's just a thing of it doesn't really matter because neither of them are the true captain, and Reece James is, which is why he asked for the armband. And to be fair, there's probably a bit of truth in that. But usually there tends to be a pretty strict hierarchy about this kind of thing. And normally you do see the armband go to the vice captain. Enzo is supposed to be the vice captain and normally would be the one with the armband. Obviously hasn't been recently. We're not really going to know until we see the two of them start in the same team. I don't particularly believe he is. I think it is probably just a case that there's a time and place for everything, but passing off the armband was not a priority, and they just never got around to it. Maybe, I don't know, but it is worth looking into, I think. Our penultimate blue card goes to who was officially given as the man of the match for this game, Marc Cucurella. And once again, just like last year, Marc Cucurella had an absolutely phenomenal game versus Arsenal. Completely and utterly locked up Bukayo Saka. He got absolutely no joy from this game. Literally 100% dual success rate, Marc Cucurella versus Bukayo Saka. Marc Cucurella beat him every single time. For every brilliant winger there is, there's one player who's their kryptonite. For Bukayo Saka, that player is Marc Cucurella. Cucurella is just too tenacious and too wily to be beaten by this guy. He's just absolutely phenomenal. Once again, Cucurella has proved what I believe to be true, that he is the best left back in the world right now, and I don't think anybody can touch him defensively as a left back. Offensively, you've got a few arguments there because offensively isn't his strong suit, but defensively, there is not a single left back in the world right now better than marvelous Marc Cucurella. And finishing off this review for today is the man who I have given the all-fabled gold card to, the man of the match, the goal scorer, the man who kept us in this game, Pedro Neto. This was just a royal appreciation for Pedro Neto, I believe. He was our most dangerous attacker throughout this entire game. Every time we got the ball to him on the left wing, he did something with it, and then when we got it to him on the right wing, he did something with it as well. And then you had Enzo Fernandez playing him into space. He runs into the center of the pitch, rifles a shot through the defenders, past Raya into the bottom corner to level the game for us and rescue us a point. So Neto was absolutely unbelievable for this game. He has 100% nailed his place down in the team, and I think it's Noni Madueke who's at the expense of this, because now that Pedro Neto is starting these games, I think he's going to be starting on the right. Now, that's not going to be the case until Jadon Sancho comes back, because I think when Jadon Sancho comes back, it's going to be Neto on the right, him on the left, and I think Madueke is going to have to be sitting on the bench for this. Madueke's performances since that Wolves game have gone down a little bit. I don't think he's been the same player, for whatever reason. I still think he's a good player, but compared to the performances we've been seeing from Sancho and Neto, I don't think it's really been up to the standard that we need from him. I think his decision-making hasn't been on top form. He's not the most willing to cross the ball all the time, specifically whenever the opportunity is there to cross the ball, which is something that is getting annoying. Neto is a cross machine, so we know he's always going to make the right decision with that, 9 times out of 10 at least. And Sancho is also not exactly the most prolific goal scorer, so he is always going to try and get the assist for his teammates. And I think in this kind of team, that is something we kind of need. I think he is going to end up in the bench sooner or later. He's not played horribly this season, Madueke, but I don't think he's played well enough to justify keeping either Pedro Neto or Jadon Sancho out of the team. So, for me, he is going to have to sit on the bench. But as for Pedro Neto, unbelievable performance. 100% the best player on the pitch for me. And he takes home the gold card today, as well as the goal from the game. 100% best player on the pitch. So that was my match review for our Premier League game versus Arsenal. I hope you all very much enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I would very much like to hear them, so please go and do that. And without further ado, I will say, my name is the Crimson Wolf. I am the reddest Chelsea fan on the internet, and you have all been amazing. And I will see you in the next video. Good luck with it.